Good afternoon. It's really my honor to introduce our speaker who needs no introduction. I call it the State of the Union Address. It is from Dr. Peter Buckley, Dean and Interim CEO of GRMA and MCG Health System. Dr. Buckley, we're ready for you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. Excellent. Now, let me ask you, what do you think of the roadmap to excellence? Do you like that? Yeah. That's very cool. So that is the work of Miss Elizabeth Smith. Elizabeth, if you'd stand up, please. Elizabeth is an artist. Elizabeth is an artist who joined our office just a couple of months ago, and you're going to see more of her work. And she embodies the theme of today with new and old, because this is a very futuristic vision of our school and where we're going on our roadmap. But she has also taken the opportunity of doing sketchings of our iconic old medical school building. And so you will see those cards. They are available to be purchased at $35 a card, please. I'm working for you, Elizabeth. So we have, I hope you're going to enjoy the road trip is what we've called it, which is what you are part of. And it's a journey of many, many years. In fact, it's a 186-year journey that we're going to fast forward you through. But before I do that, I want to acknowledge key colleagues on that journey. And first and foremost, our president, Ricardo Aziz, who is right down there. Thank you for being here, Ricardo. And thank you for your remarkable leadership. And we also want to turn to our colleagues in Athens, and you'll see as part of the journey, you can see that we're on a roadmap that has multiple stops to it, and one of the major stops is our important relationship with our colleagues at UGA. And I do want to acknowledge my colleague, Dr. Barbara Schuster, who is also going on a different journey shortly, and we appreciate her as being the inaugural campus dean of that very vital part of our family. Now, we also have others that have left or will be leaving, but we also have others that have joined us, and I would like a show of hands of those of you that have joined our institution over the last year. So you are all very welcome. Thank you for being here. Okay. Now, I'd like to, if you're going to go on a journey, you want to make sure that you have everybody packed in. And we have a great group here, but we're not just here. We are all across the state, and we have our regional campuses that we're going to check in with. And then this morning at 4:30 in the morning, I got an email from Brett Heimlich, who is live streaming in as a Fogarty Fellow from Malawi. So, very cool. So let's check in a little closer to home with Albany. Okay, you're welcome.
Hi.
Welcome. Let's go to our partnership campus in Athens.
Hello, Athens is here.
Hey, welcome.
Hi.
Welcome. Let's go to Rome, Georgia.
Rome is here.
Hey. Welcome. Let's go to Savannah, Georgia.
Savannah's here. Here we are.
Now, one of the things that you've noticed already about our regional strategy is in Savannah they like to party. So you see all the food is in Savannah. So, I want to tell you a story, and it's remarkable that we should do so today on May Day, because on the 1st of May, it's the beginning of summer. And there's probably no greater brand and product that has a worldwide renowned appearance than Coca-Cola here in Georgia. But the interesting thing about Coca-Cola is it continually reinvents its brand so that it stays progressive and at the front of its game. And this summer, there's a new brand of Coke launched to make sure that this timeless, iconic brand remains center stage and meaningful. And so it is with the Medical College of Georgia. And I'm grateful to our colleagues in the media for their help in putting together, as well as with Jeanette Ballatin and a whole host of many of you in this room, putting together our strategic plan. And if you just even look at that, it tells you all about what's happening. We have an iconic medical school that's the 13th oldest and the 9th largest in America, but we also have one that's one of the most progressive. It's a great story, it's a great journey, and when you want to go on a journey, you have to have a roadmap. And we now have a roadmap thanks to all of you and your work on our strategic plan, and that's the roadmap that I'd like to take you along for about the next 5 hours. And it's really exciting because not just in Augusta do we have state-of-the-art buildings that are creating an energy and enthusiasm about our school and students wanting to get into our school, but we have many, many homes across the state, both physically and metaphorically. And the resources that are available to our medical school have grown tremendously, and I'm grateful to many people, but also I'm grateful to Provost Gretchen Kaufman for your support in securing those resources, particularly with the Board of Regents. So this is what our school looks like. You will notice that compared to a couple of years ago, the materials that are, you may be sitting on some of these, that were on your seat, the materials are much more glossy, they're much more progressive, they're much more branded, because we're branding a message of a medical school that is progressive, that is growing, that's got a great story to tell. And it is a great story with growth, with complexity of residencies and fellowships, and as I said, with a pattern that's all across the state. This may well be the single most exciting amongst all the stories that we'll go through this afternoon. And I'm grateful to, well, I'm pretty much grateful to every one of you, but I do want to single out Walt Moore because this year, 1 in 5 of our medical students are staying here at our institution for their training. That is unprecedented. We exceeded the national rate in our match. This is important because medical schools have produced more potential doctors as residents, but we haven't done the same things with residencies, and so there's a potential fall short, which means that residents may not get their opportunity when they graduate. But at the Medical College of Georgia, you get an incredible training. It doesn't matter what campus you're at. You are well prepared, and our colleagues matched well above the national level. And then as a public medical school, we have a fundamental commitment to the health of Georgians, and 30% of our medical students are staying as residents in Georgia. That is something that our legislature will be very, very proud to hear of. And 40% are also pursuing primary care specialties. Important that we get the full distribution of support for Georgians.
We are the Medical College of Georgia class of 2015, and we are pleased to share that this year we matched in 18 different specialties in 35 states at many of the top training programs in our nation. For 1 in 5 of us, that meant choosing to stay at MCG and GR Health for our residency training. That includes me. I'll be studying emergency medicine.
So, do you know where Parker is? Parker is in our Athens campus. Isn't that wonderful? And so we're mingling our campuses and our future together and truly across the state. And so we have a statewide presence with campuses, as you saw, in Athens, a 4-year campus in Savannah, in Brunswick, in Albany, and in Rome. And if you haven't been on a road trip, you need to visit our medical school, because it just isn't in Augusta. It is all across the state. If you go to any of these places, you will be welcomed with open arms by each of those communities. They have embraced our school, and our school is fusing with each of those communities so that our future is truly intertwined. We're now the 9th largest medical school in America, with 230 students. And I will tell you, they are banging down the door to get into the Medical College of Georgia. Now, I want to tell you a little bit about each of the campuses. If you've not visited, as I said, please do. In preparation for our LCME visit, as well as to include and increase that cohesiveness, many of our faculty and leaders have traveled to each of the campuses over the year, and I thank you for doing that. That's a very important part of this. We have an incredibly important and vital relationship with University of Georgia in Athens, and UGA is a flagship school, and we are very fortunate to be partnering with them to increase the physician workforce in Georgia. And unlike all the other campuses, this is a 4-year campus, and so we have a cohort. We've gone from 0 to 160, 40 students per year, and now the second group of them graduated, and they're going to just as great schools as anybody anywhere else in our system. And so this is really an extraordinary 2-year match. This is an award-winning program from the AAMC in just about 1.5 years ago. And part of the reason was because those students have been embraced by the community, and they have embraced the community, and they're doing the kind of activities that make our medical school proud. They're also involved in research, both with you and also with our leaders at UGA, seeking the synergies between our two institutions. And that is happening, and that is gaining national awareness as well as national recognition for what we're doing. And I'm proud of all our faculty, and I'm proud of our students in Athens. And to understand what's happening and the future of this, I mentioned the issue around medical student production. We've stepped up to the plate, but of course what's important at the end of the day is having enough doctors, not just enough medical students. So working with the University System of Georgia, with Ben Robinson, with a host of very supportive regents, we've embarked in a process to enable 400 new residency positions. And I'm particularly proud of Shelley Nuss and our colleagues in Athens, who are starting this very July 10 residents in internal medicine. Isn't that wonderful? That is just terrific. And our partners in St. Mary's are going to be matched shortly by our partners in Athens Regional, and Shelley and colleagues are working hard with Athens Regional to develop and broaden the same residence opportunity. This is a terrific opportunity. You will see in the graphic in the far right here, you will see a wonderful colleague, Leslie Lee Petchel, and Leslie is our shortly incoming interim dean, and so we're grateful for her support as we ramp up a national search for a new campus dean, and that is going very well, and more news about that later. Move on to another campus, our southeastern campus. You saw our colleagues from Savannah. Again, a great embracing of the community, working with a migrant clinic as a new initiative over this year. And our students in Savannah get just a phenomenal training at St. Joseph's and with our doctors across the way. And they've been also acknowledged for their compassionate care by Sisters of St. Mercy. And we're also very fortunate that our medical students are able to have resident suites at the Nunnally House in Brunswick, and that was a gift to the Brunswick Hospital that were kind enough to support their campus in a very meaningful way. And that's an example of how this outreach is working across the state. Up in Rome, we have a different model, and we have a kind of follow the patient or an integrated longitudinal model. And so rather than being in a clinic as a medical student and seeing one patient after another, in Rome you follow the patient across their healthcare journey. And Rome is uniquely equipped to be able to do that because of the extraordinary integration, both technologically as well as physician manpower, between the various clinics and hospitals in Rome. So it's a very special place to try out that model. And that model was recognized, as was Len Ree's leadership at the Georgia Bio Innovation Awards. So healthcare and medical education here is innovative, and it has been recognized. We have our first cohort of students graduating from the Rhone campus this coming next week, actually. Hope you're all going to be there, all gowned up. It's going to be a great affair. And we're continuing to build on that, just like in Athens, to explore opportunities with other healthcare providers so that we reach out and develop the whole continuum, not just medical student experiences. The Southwest campus is actually the first campus outside of Augusta. And we're celebrating 10 years of that campus. It's been an amazing partner. Phoebe Putney is the main hospital where our campus is located. It is a state-of-the-art facility. And in addition to just the opportunity to train there, our students are also getting two unique developments that speak to the kind of leadership that are there. One is a certificate in leadership development so that our students can train and develop the kind of leadership skills early on. And then also supported in part by the campus dean, Granville Simmons, we have a rural program. And that's our effort to ensure that we meet our mission in Georgia by taking care of healthcare in rural Georgia as well. And it's what you see there is the model of the campuses really developing. This year, it's no surprise that in honor of 10 years of extraordinary partnership, we're honoring with our Community Partner Award Phoebe Putney and Mr. Joel Wernicke. And we're going to try to shoot over to Phoebe and see. Joel cannot be there, but we have a new Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Steve Kitchen, and he is a graduate of the Medical College of Georgia. Granville, take it away.
Steve, on behalf of the Medical College, in substitution for Joel, we want to thank Phoebe for providing us with 10 years of educational support, helping our students.
Well, thanks so much. I will tell you on behalf of Joel Wernick and the board of directors at Phoebe Putney, it really is an honor and a privilege to accept this award. You know, I think it's been a wonderful partnership the next 10 years, and we certainly look forward to only enhancing that partnership in the years ahead. I think one of the reasons this partnership has been so successful is that the core missions of the Medical College of Georgia and Phoebe Putney are aligned in that we recognize to best serve the citizens of Georgia and certainly in the southwest region of the state that we have to be totally invested in the healthcare education of physicians, nurses, pharmacists, and all the dedicated professionals that render healthcare. So we are honored to be in the position that we are, and I would certainly like to extend my thanks to Dr. Simmons, Dr. Sandra Mobley, and the entire staff here at the Southwest Georgia campus for all they do to make sure that the medical students have the best experience possible when they come to our Southwest campus.
Thank you, Steve. Congratulations to Steve. Now, I'm not going to bore you with going through the details of our strategic plan because I know you have it by your bedside and you read it every single evening. So I'm going to try to hit the highlights. And our first strategic focus is to provide exceptional, future-oriented learning experiences. A major responsibility is that we serve our state and that we train doctors, and we're training higher performing doctors coming in the door. Our medical student number of applicants to our medical school is up again by 15% this year, compared to about a 4% at other medical schools. So they are truly beating down the doors to get into our medical school. Why are they doing that? Because we have great educators. We have a culture of educational excellence. It doesn't matter where you go across America. Alumni will tell you the Medical College of Georgia trained them well for anything that was going to be coming at them in their career. We've worked very hard, and I'm grateful to Gina Duncan and to many of you that are here from the admissions committee. You serve tremendously. Your role is extremely vital, and we've not only increased the overall scores of our students, but we've also met some of our key initiatives. I mentioned rural. Also, we've increased diversity. We've also increased and we've also increased the performance of our MD PhD program. We could talk a lot about our regional campus strategy. You're going to see that continue to mature and develop. And the good thing about it is there's something for everybody. And so each of these campuses are different, and they offer a different opportunity. And that, when you're looking at medical school and you're looking at the admissions, that is phenomenal, the opportunity that it provides. We're also seeking the new opportunities under our new university, Georgia Regents University. This is incredibly important, and it is also our duty, it is our responsibility, and it gives us potential synergies. And in a moment, I will tell you about one of those synergies in the broadening out of our offerings in medical school so that people can pursue dual degrees. We've worked very hard, and we've had tremendous support from many quarters to improve the academic environment for our medical students, and that is why they are increasingly seeking us out. Do please go and visit the Harrison building. It is like taking cocaine. Whoops, did I say that in public? It is a shot in the arm. It is an absolute, it is extraordinary. We had a doctor here, Cam Enerson, just 4 weeks ago. He's an LCME reviewer for all across America. He said there's not a single medical school that has a building of this quality. It is unbelievable. We've also tried to figure out, and I'm grateful to Paul Wallach and our class deans, we're trying to figure out in Augusta, how do you manage and keep the kind of experience that our earlier students of 50 years ago had of a small class that was integrated But how do you do that with hundreds of medical students? And we turn to the Harry Potter style of making academic societies. And that has not only provided great enrichment for our students, but it's also fun for those who are involved in that. I've mentioned our admissions initiatives. We've also started much better advising, career counseling across all our campuses. That's reflected in the kind of opportunities and the experiences of our students who've graduated. And we've got some really amazing opportunities, technological, in terms of our state-of-the-art anatomy area, in terms of our simulation, which is quite extraordinary, and then in terms of some of the items we're doing to really advance technological training, both with the bedside, but also, as I'll show you shortly, real cool things like ultrasound.
We know that physicians today always have a stethoscope handy, and by the end of this decade, we believe they'll also have a portable ultrasound machine in their pocket. That's why we are using it now in all 4 years of medical school to ensure it fits comfortably in our pockets and in our practice.
How cool is that? Isn't that amazing? So, I mentioned earlier that we are living up to our responsibility of really seizing the opportunity of a new university. And this is a coming attraction. You're going to hear more about that. We have our students in our Somerville campus and their parents in Augusta are hoping that they will go to medical school. And so they are on a track getting the kind of training that will help them towards medical school. But of course, it's also important, thank you very much, it's also important to emphasize that it is not a direct don't pass go to medical school. We still retain the whole integrity of the admissions process. And so this will provide us with the kind of pipeline, but also the kind of quality that I shared with you earlier. And so please stay attentive to this. This is going to really help our medical school. By the way, did I mention this? 1 in 5 of our medical students staying for residency. Did I mention this? Extraordinary. But I mentioned it also at the other campuses. I mentioned the development of GME. We're also looking at extension of family medicine in association with our great partners, university hospitals. And if you look longitudinally at what's happening, of getting great students, building a pipeline, recruiting the best into medical school, having them come to our residency, 40% in July 1, 40% of the residents that start here in July 1 are our medical students. That is phenomenal. That is good for healthcare in Augusta and Georgia. And if we cultivate them, we will have some of them stay as faculty. And if we do the right thing by them as faculty, we will have the kind of committed faculty that we have here, people that are giving their careers towards medicine. And I will ask you then, who is this young man? That is Dr. Howell, trained at the Medical College of Georgia. Who is this young man? That is Dr. Linder, chair of pediatrics, trained at the Medical College of Georgia. These two men are extraordinarily philanthropists, and they are giving a weekend for 2 at the Ritz-Carlton in Laguna Beach. It is an amazing place for any of you who know who the names of these 2 people are. Okay, let's move on to research a little bit. We've had a great year in research, particularly because we have continued to stay focused, continued to stay robust, and develop a research program in probably the most adversarial time in the history of National Institute of Health. And you should be very proud of our colleagues. And I was walking right in here, and one of our colleagues told me, I think I'm going to get another center grant. Isn't that amazing? So it is happening right in front of us. And you should be very proud that we lead not just in federal grants, but we are also right out there in terms of cardiovascular sciences and our research overall. And we don't have time to tell you about this here, but you know, if you go home in the evening and you relax and, like I say, take the rest of the day off at about 10 o'clock at night, you can watch the TV at 11 o'clock and you'll see some amazing stories. Dr. Rauda was one about his work recently. Amazing stories that really not only contribute to good science, but they also contribute to a real sense of community that Augusta is fortunate to have very talented people doing great work.
We are working to reduce a significant number of patients with uncontrolled hypertension by learning more about how chronic mental stress, obesity, and inflammation conspire to cause some individuals to hold on to too much sodium long after the stress that raised their blood pressure has passed. In fact, we're already looking at drugs that may intervene.
We're also continuing with great vigor what you will remember President Nixon called the war on cancer. And this is a very important commitment of our institution, and we have brought some tremendous scientists. And so this is a very, very important area that really builds our credibility. One of the things that happens is when you bring really talented researchers, and they're also great educators, they want to get medical students involved in research, stimulate the academic juices, as well as hone their skills in critical thinking. And I'm very proud of many, many people, but particularly Richard for his support, Richard Cameron, in getting and sustaining our medical student research. We hit over 50% of our medical students involved in summer research, and you can see it is in it's not just in Augusta. We have a great program in Athens, and we're continuing to grow that over time. Very important part of what we do. I'm very grateful also to Sarah White and to, in particular, Mike Diamond. He's worked extremely hard and got support from Gretchen and others to really help build our research infrastructure. It's very important that we have the kind of infrastructure that can facilitate good research and that we are engaged in the kind of IT activity that allows us link with our partners at UGA as well as other partners, not just across the state but across the country. So this is a very important building foundation in our research. I'm also extremely proud of all that you have done in clinical care over the last year. It's a remarkable story. We are truly living up to our responsibility to provide excellence in healthcare to Georgians and beyond. And I will tell you, 5 minutes before this presentation, I was over at our executive healthcare program, and I heard amazing comments from somebody who was there today. So thank you, Laura, and also thank you, Tony, for your leadership in that. Very important to get the message and give a high-quality product, but also to do that across Georgia. And so
we're using wires, lasers, and even tiny drills to help reestablish blood flow through 100% blockages in the coronary arteries that have quite literally turned rock hard. This percutaneous approach to chronic total occlusions can help patients live better, longer, and avoid open heart surgery.
I'm also particularly proud that we have really found what has been the hallmark of good medical practice, where nurses and doctors work well together. We're very fortunate to have Laura Brower as our new Chief Nursing Officer, and Laura works hand in glove with Kevin Delsberger, our Chief Medical Officer, and so do you as faculty, and so do you as nursing colleagues. And together we do great things. We have sustained an unprecedented amount of clinical growth, a growth in not just our inpatients, which is bucking national trends, but also a growth in our outpatient care. We, which rather you, have done a simply amazing job in our clinics. because a long-standing criticism of all of us was I couldn't get to see the doctor. He was away. My clinic got canceled. And so we started a process to measure that. The industrial standard for outpatients cancellations is about 5%, to allow about 5% of cancellations within 45 days, because obviously people do go to things and things happen, so there is a natural rate, but we set ourselves a target of meeting the 5%, and we met and exceeded it, and now, due to the efforts of Julian and Joe Thornton, and really all the leaders in our clinics, we now have a cancellation rate of 2.3%. That is unprecedented. So please congratulate our colleagues. That is really phenomenal. And so we've done that while also committing to a huge strategic process with 14 groups that represent each of our colleges, represent nursing, doctors, and administration, as we take stock of the opportunities that are out ahead of us clinically. We've had unprecedented support and involvement in a physician compensation plan. Very important that we modernize our physician compensation plan to drive productivity. And we have continued our outreach. As you know, we have Columbia County in play with an appeals process currently underway. And in the meantime, we have established a multi-specialty clinic in Wheeler Road that's already exceeding its budget and is providing access right out in the community. And we're working hard, and this is part of sharing with you the many, many good things that are happening so that we keep everybody on the bus in the right direction as we go in this amazing journey. And we are interested in our faculty, our nurses, our staff, staying with us and having their talents work with us. We've also attracted new partners. We have a 15-year, $300 million agreement with Philips Healthcare. Extraordinary. We're in the process of changing out many of our radiological technologies that bring us state-of-the-art, but we're also harnessing this relationship to drive our clinical care, improve our processes, and this is really quite an innovation for our institution. I'm particularly grateful to all our clinical leaders, but this group also, because this is our clinical work group who meet pretty much every week, and they are driving and refining and making sure that our clinical processes grow and are increasingly efficient. There's an extraordinary amount of items that have happened over the last 18 months. The Philips initiative is just one. I could talk about any of these. A single medical staff for the first time. Unprecedented amount of hiring and retention of our nursing staff with Laura joining us. First ever with Sean Vincent. First ever physician liaisons. We're only 15 years late. Other hospitals have been doing it for years, but we now have physician liaisons that are going out and helping develop our practices. We're in Warm Springs. We got $20 million to develop Warm Springs because of our legislature. And now our students, our rehab students, and our faculty are up there providing outstanding care. Huge amount of activity, and particularly proud that we are going in the direction of the right area for healthcare, and that is integrated healthcare. And during this year, we integrated the practices of allied health, of dentistry, and nursing in a way that still retains the respect of each individual, but will allow over time us to grow in terms of our team-based care and also in terms of interprofessional learning. I mentioned our faculty compensation plan. That's another coming attraction. We hope to launch over this coming year in a parallel session so that we can gain the kind of information and be respectful, and this will also help drive our activities. I'm particularly proud of all of you and also appreciate Stephen Scott's leadership as well as Susan Norton's leadership in going out twice within 8 months on a survey. That was a very gutsy thing to do, Susan. And the reason is because when we started, we were at the 26%, we were at the 8th percentile, not terribly impressive. And we jumped within 8 months to the 26th percentile. Maybe not entirely impressive, and we have a way to go. But what's important about this survey is every single item improved. And our Press Ganey colleagues said they had not seen that degree of improvement, that steep improvement in such a short period of time. That is a credit to all of you. This is also the credit of all of you, and this is simply looking at mortality rate as one of the many metrics that we're now tracking. And because of the working together of nurses and doctors and good leadership and people looking at data and tracking and working to the data, we are literally improving the lives and the longevity of our patients. That is a great thing, and if you don't clap for that, don't clap for anything else. That is extraordinary. You used to be able to say, you know, you can take this to the bank, but that doesn't mean anything anymore. But these are great, great data, and we need to continue to commit to that kind of support. We have a number of things on the horizon. We have ICD-10. This is a very big issue for us, and that's why we're working hard on the electronic medical record, as well as on the billing process, as well as the interface, so that we get ourselves well prepared for something that is really going to cause a lot of stir nationally. And we're also, of course, looking at what our healthcare future is, what our partners may be, and it's a very interesting time for us in academic medicine because healthcare changes and mergers and acquisitions and all of that kind of profile typically occurred in hospitals that were non-academic, and academic hospitals would kind of sit in the sideline and watch. You've been reading the paper. Wellstar and Emory are on a track of partnership, not clear yet whether it'll work out. And I'm very proud, I'll tell you, very, very proud that we are at least in dialogue with our partners at University Hospital. It's a tremendous institution. We have our residents there, and of course, many of the people that give terrific care at University Hospitals are graduates of the Medical College of Georgia. So this is not something surprising. We focus, area number 4 follows from all I've said about creating an environment where people want to be involved, and this focuses on people and excellence and maximizing our leadership capacity at all levels. And we've done this in many ways. Yesterday, I was in Philadelphia, very proud to be there with Martha Tingen, who was a graduate of the ELAM program, as is a former graduate, Sylvia Smith. And these are incredibly competitive programs to be involved in. And we are doing that in our own backyard. We are very fortunate to have Carly Hess. Carly, where are you? There you go. Carly Hess has joined us from the Cleveland Clinic. She ran leadership development in the Cleveland Clinic for a number of years. She probably knows what she's doing. Cleveland Clinic's a pretty good place. So we're so grateful that you've joined us as we continue an institutional commitment towards all of us.
We are encouraged to hone our leadership skills for our own future as well as for our medical schools by participating in programs that help us learn more about communication, management, and even finance. This year, I am truly privileged to represent the Richmond County Medical Society at Medical Association of Georgia's Foundation's Georgia Physician Leadership Academy.
This year's Professionalism Award will be of absolutely no surprise to you. In fact, you've seen them very recently. It's a colleague that graduated from the Medical College of Georgia about 400 years ago. No, it's not right. And his commitment is amazing. And I will violate in front of Susan Norton, and publicly I will disclose information that I should not. I will disclose this person's evaluation by his faculty. And one of his faculty wrote, I would lie down on the tracks for Dr. Howell. And this year's awardee is Dr. Charles Howell, who's an amazing colleague at our institution. Charlie, come on up. Good. Hey, man. I guess they liked it. Congratulations. You want to say something? He says, unaccustomed to public speaking, he'll say something.
I'm almost speechless, but never really. I guess people don't ever hesitate to find out what my opinion is about things because I am very passionate about this place. I guess I came here about 400 years ago. Now, I came here in 1970, and I thought when I got my acceptance to medical school, I was at Valdosta State, and I thought it was the greatest day of my life. And I went through medical school and residency, and then went to Philadelphia, and then they said, well, where do you want to go from CHOP? Which big program do you want to go and start your practice in pediatric surgery? And I said, I want to come back home. Thank you.
Great job, Charlie. I guess if we'd have done it as a popularity vote, you'd have won it too. One of the many things that I'm really proud about Charlie is that he co-led with Debbie the Ronald McDonald relocation and funding for that. And Bray Boardman said that he had never seen such a commitment of physicians in our community, and I think that was because of Charlie and because of Debbie. I want to tell you also that a major component of our strategic plan is cultural diversity. And there are a number of activities. We're very pleased as our institution to be recognized as a HEAT Award just last year. And we continue to develop our activities. And I want to tell you just about some of these. We're beginning the phase where high school kids come to medical school or to our institution for the summer and try it out, our SEEP program. Linda James, and many, many people put a huge commitment into that. It's very important. It is our lifeblood. It is our future. We're in Harrisburg. We're also in Savannah. We have a SEEP in Savannah that was launched a couple of years ago. And we're doing some really cool things. And let me tell you.
We are inspiring future generations of physicians with events such as the Igniting the Dream of Medicine conference that brings college and high school students to our campus from across Georgia to gain firsthand knowledge and hands-on experience with what it takes to be a medical student. Of course, that includes time with us, the next generation.
This is an amazing program, and it's, again, this year going to attract a huge amount of interest and really help kids decide their futures and help build the workforce capacity for Georgia. This man needs no introduction. This is J. Harold Harrison, who has transformed our medical school. It's just as simple as that, and you're seeing it in front of your eyes. And you're also seeing it because we're raising our game. We've got wind in our sails with a $66 million gift, and others are giving. We have an extraordinarily supportive alumni group all across the state. We've increased our number of regional receptions. We've had increased interaction. And we also are providing a variety of opportunities and activities for our students so that they interact with our alumni and they understand the richness and the legacy of our medical school. And I'm grateful yet again to Jeanette Ballatin for her leadership in establishing a MCG advisory board that is drawn from doctors and commercial and business leaders across the state. That is a priceless opportunity to us. We've also increased the number of our visits all across America, and we find that same story of MCG prepared me so well. We find it in LA, we find it in Maine, we find it in Florida, we find it all across America. And that is fueling the kind of support that you're seeing for our medical school, both home and abroad. As you walk through the Harrison building, you will see placards on the room that are support of several people in this room, as well as our alumni across the state. And that we have ignited the fire of philanthropy in a new way for our institution. I'm particularly grateful to our MCG Foundation. This is an extraordinary organization, as well as an extraordinary group of people who truly love their medical school. And just last week, we were gathered at the Harrison building as we received yet another $1 million in support of our medical school and our students. This is the distribution of our endowed chairs. It's a very dynamic process. We continue to grow as we're adding endowed chairs. This weekend, Charlie, you're going to be out recruiting the first ever Harrison chair, if we're fortunate, a remarkable colleague who did his training at the Medical College of Georgia. He's going to come back home just like Charlie. And you think Charlie's going to be able to convince him? I believe you will. And we have a remarkable number of chairs and opportunity. It's bringing some wonderful people to our institution. We'll have another celebration of that again, Jeanette Ballatin has led, our investiture ceremony coming up next month. It's important also to look at what's the distribution of scholarships around the state and in our other campuses. And the good news is that while the Harrison gift itself is Augusta specific, we also have other specific, both in Albany and in Athens, specific scholarships. And recently we looked to see how does this play out across the profile, and we were gratified to find that our students are also, irrespective of campus, they are also being able to avail of scholarships. A very important point of equitability across each campus that we can then build on to try to create more campus-focused scholarships and build on those local relationships. Never a day goes by without me mentioning the 66 transformative gift, the Harrison gift. It is happening in front of our eyes. We now have the second cohort of medical students entering. As I mentioned already, we're working on the Harrison chairs, and I believe right in front of us, we are raising the bar and creating a new culture of commitment as well as philanthropy. And where this plays so well is the legislature, because they understand if you give a buck for this and you match a buck for that, it is a good investment. And when Governor Deal came here last year to open the new Harrison building, he talked about a private-state partnership. And I'm extraordinarily grateful to our legislative team. They have brought people from all across America here to understand what's happening, to get them excited. I'm grateful that we have a liaison with the Medical Association of Georgia. That's providing other opportunities. And you know the story of medical marijuana But here in Georgia, they are looking towards us. Michael Diamond and our neurology, our pediatric neurology colleagues have done an amazing job. They stepped up to the plate when asked by the governor and the legislature, and we are doing groundbreaking research that other states are following Georgia because we're at the forefront of national research and activities. We also have been fortunate to have the continued support of the legislature with continued support to develop new faculty. We've got expansion for our new Rome campus, and we continue to be able to roll out in support with our USG colleagues education across the state.
We are 1,800 strong, physicians who proudly donate their time and talent to educating the next generation. This essential network began more than a quarter century ago when a handful of family physicians raised their hands to help Georgia's public medical school establish a statewide clerkship program.
We've come to the end of this presentation. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you believe that it is indeed a journey of excellence. And you know what? The best is yet to come. I'd like my colleagues who contributed to this presentation, and particularly Tim and Jared and Phil. Where are you, Phil? Thank you so much. Please stand. Please recognize our colleagues for all they do for us. Thank you all very much. Thank you all. We'll be gathering for a more formal event next week at the Marriott Convention Center, where we pass out one of the largest classes in America, our students from the Medical College of Georgia. Thank you very much. Thank you on your journey, and appreciate all you do. Thank you to all our colleagues on the line.